Cameras nowadays are awesome, but expensive. Even the cameras we carry with us all the time in our pockets, in the form of our phones, or at least a mortgage payment. So the decision to get an extra camera is not a decision to be taken lightly. Because cameras take on so many functions or shapes. You have crop sensor cameras, full frame cameras, point and shoot cameras, and camcorders. By the time you're done going down a rabbit hole of cameras, you'll come up with a lot of wasted time and more confused than ever before on which camera is right for you. Saying that, I found some key words or features that are needed in a camera that may help you on your camera journey. Number one, you want to hear the camera has IBIS, in-body image stabilization. You want to know when you're walking and filming, you're not making your viewer endure an earthquake or accidentally causing an epileptic seizure. IBIS will keep your video steady, and you don't have to be as careful with movement as a camera with IBIS than without it. So want to know that your camera has a 3.5mm jack. The camera does not have to have great audio if you have a mic jack or another recording device. But so long as you stay near your camera or a recording space where your voice is not bouncing off the walls or being drowned out by the wind, you can do without this for a while. But make sure that the mic jack is included. You must definitely want to research the lens and aperture of the lens. Usually when an aperture of 3, that's good. 2 is better. And anything starting with 1, you need to snatch that thing up immediately if you can find it for a good price. So the aperture setting controls the amount of light the lens can handle. The Nikon Z30 comes with a 16 to 50mm lens and it's 3.5 to 5.6. That's good, but it's not awesome. Right now I have the 12 to 28mm lens, which is a wide view, and it has 3.5 to 5.6. Again, it's good, but it's not awesome. In my experience, I felt as though that's because it's wide enough to capture myself in a scene, but it also allows me room enough to crop in my picture if there is something I do not want in my shot. You also want a good grip to handle the camera, especially if you're planning on shooting for a while. The easier the camera is to handle, the longer you're able to shoot to your heart's content. Now you can go and see how this allows me to hold my full hand on the camera. That way my hand is not getting exhausted by holding the camera too long. And just in case, I got my little, handle grip too. Because if you're at an event and you're shooting for a while, eventually your hand's going to get exhausted if you don't have a proper grip on it. Also, this is something that you want to do for yourself. Cameras store SD cards. You're only limited by how much storage your camera has, or your SD card has, and how much the read and write speeds are. I would suggest that you cheap out on any type of SD cards. Simply because your camera is limited by how much it can go on to read and write. So you can have one take, a second take, or your 100th take, and if that's how long it takes for you to go and get your perfect scenario, and if all those takes are not something you want, simply reformat and start the recording all over again. At the end of the day, the best camera is the camera you are most likely to have on you. Since cameras are so expensive, it's most certainly something you want for a while. It's best to pick the camera with functions that you can grow with. That way you will learn to use the camera for your personal enjoyment, and not for the bells and whistles that the camera has, because those are always evolving.